It's the last day of daylight savings here in central Victoria, Australia, and it's the 4th of April. And the garden is looking really good. This smoke bush has flowered again, and I love the look of the sunlight through those flower heads, and same with the miscanthus up there. It's been a bit of a breezy day today, and I've enjoyed watching the way everything moves in the wind. My husband bought this lemon cypress, and I wouldn't have picked it, but I'm so glad he did, because the scent of it is really nice, but also I've learned that it's a quick grower, and I think the contrast it will provide to the smoke bush as they both grow will be really interesting. I had a bit of an easy gardening day today. I just did weeding, and I weeded this entire bed, and it took me no longer than an hour, and I actually spent, I think it was 3 or 4 days weeding it when it was a hot mess of weeds. And I have got videos showing that weeding process and the satisfying before and afters. But now it takes less than an hour to weed all of those autumn weeds that popped up when we got our first downpour, and then our second one, they all just popped up, and it's so much easier to keep under control. So in spring, I think it was, I planted this side of the arch with a white Hardenbergia. This one is a purple one, and it has grown all the way up now. So I'll just keep trimming it throughout autumn, and then in late winter it will flower again. And these two Nyphophia, I wasn't expecting them to throw up these flowers, these red hot pokers as they're called. I didn't realize they did it in autumn, so that's really nice. And as I keep saying, I'm looking forward to creating a proper hedge, maybe even next season, with those pomegranates. Another big change here. A friend cut off 3 agave, which I believe she has around her pool, and gave them to me. So I've popped them in this bed, which will become a probably succulent only bed, as it won't be irrigated. And I really like the look of it. Still loving my gravel. I've got some weeds growing up in it as well after the downpours we've had, but I have used weed poison which has worked, but when we get another lot of rain, more weeds pop up. So I'm thinking, I've actually got a big bag of coarse salt, and I'm thinking of using that to put on areas where I know I definitely don't want anything to grow. I've used salt before and it does work, and it keeps the weeds away for a long time. So I might do that, I think. I pruned this callistemon really hard and it's starting to look pretty good. That was in the spring, I think. Looking forward to this. It's a powwow berry. What is it? It'll come to me hopefully. This one and this one are new. A powwow Burberry. Is that it? I think so. I don't know. Barberry. Barberry. That's it. This is a purple one. The crabapple. I wonder if I should limb it up next spring and encourage it to take on the shape. And there's one of my favourite views. I probably should shape this a bit. It's getting a little bit unruly. I think it's some kind of grevillea evergreen. Now, as usual, I'm filming, so I've forgotten what things are called. This is a plant that isn't doing so well. Now, what on earth is it? Blood something. It turns a bright red in autumn, or it's meant to, but it has lost a lot of its leaves. I'm hoping that it comes back in spring and establishes. I really need to start taking all these garlic chive heads off before the seeds go absolutely everywhere, and I've got a lot of weeding to do. That's what I'm talking about, the weeds that just pop up after the autumn rains. try the salt experiment here too on this gravel. You can see how striking the Helianthus angustifolius is. I think last video it only had one flower, and it really is very striking. It feels like it brightens up the whole house because you can see it from inside. The cosmos are really starting to bloom now. They're quite late. I still haven't done any planting here. This Escallonia hasn't flowered for me at all. Hopefully it will next season. And I finally pruned this lavender, which I don't think I've pruned for 2 years. So I've cut it back down to size. Very soon, maybe next weekend, I'll be hiring a tiller and tilling a circle here and planting my wild flowers finally. I've got some cardboard ready to go for my silver birch bed to sheet mulch it. I have planted some daffodil bulbs in there as well because I dug them up from my island bed at the back to try and thin them out. So that's all my cardboard for sheet mulching. And this bed, I think I'll also transfer some comfrey in here because the comfrey in my other garden beds has taken over a bit. So yeah, this is the last day of daylight savings. The sun is rising at 7:39 a.m. and it will set at 7:14 p.m. And it was a top temperature today of 19 and a minimum of 9. And we've had a very cool southerly blowing all day. But tomorrow's going to be 24 and no wind, so I'm looking forward to having a really nice day in the garden, and these dahlias will also appreciate it. So as I said before, this I want to primarily be my dahlia bed. And here's one of the comfrey. I do like the comfrey, but there's a lot of leaf and not a lot of flower. So I might move this down to the silver birch bed. And this will give me space to put another dahlia. But I have heard that comfrey can be very difficult to get rid of once it's established, and this is thoroughly established. So that could be quite a challenge. So I think last video, or in previous videos, I've really praised snapdragons because of their hardiness, but look what's started to happen to my snapdragons. They're all going brown and dying. So I don't know whether they've come to the end of their life or what's going on. But anyway, I've been thinking about this spot. I've said before I'm going to move this echinacea. I'm going to move these rogue pomegranates. These hollyhocks have volunteered themselves here and they need to go. But I'm thinking here of putting a really beautiful looking and quite sun tolerant big dahlia called Pentil Watermelon. And my thinking is it will provide shade to this Sunday Fraise hydrangea in the late afternoon. So by getting rid of the snapdragons, which are dying anyway, yeah, and putting that dahlia here, I'm thinking that might look good and help that Sunday Fraise hydrangea. Really impressed with the penstemon, so I think I might get more penstemon down there too. And here's this Helianthus angustifolius. It's quite fun to watch it in the wind today. And yeah, when the sun shines on it in the morning, it just glows and it feels like it's lighting up the whole house inside. However, I have decided it also needs to be moved. It's just too tall there. It blocks whatever I want to plant behind it. And it covers that path I'm trying to keep there. I'm a bit torn because of that light it seems to give in the morning, and that you can see it from the house. I kind of like the effect, but I think I will move it over here. And so just imagine it lighting up that area in the background next season. And then I will maintain that path a little bit better, I think, next summer. As I've said before, I'm going to move this Hebe beside the Sunday Fraise hydrangea after I move the echinacea. And the anemone are having a long flowering season for me. Really impressed. Same with the Leonuris. But yeah, it's a very impressive Helianthus. Flowers late, but what a show when it does. I really love Cleome, and I found out on another YouTube gardening channel that you can cut it right back and it bushes up a bit more and you get many more smaller flower heads. So I might hopefully try that next season. And I've decided I want to protect this Sunday Fraise hydrangea a bit more too. So I'm going to do a few changes here. I'm going to move this Black and Bloom salvia, probably swap it with that purple buddleia, which grows really tall, and the buddleia can grow here and provide shade for this Sunday Fraise hydrangea. And the Loddon Gold, sorry, not the Loddon Gold, the Helianthus angustifolius will be just there. So I think the purple and the yellow will go together really well, better than the red and the yellow, in my opinion. And I also pruned my Italian lavender. So the one I pruned out there is the French lavender, and this is Italian lavender. And it has been cut back to its winter ready form, and it will come back in spring with more flowers. This is my best performing Sunday Fraise hydrangea in terms of the maintaining the colour on the flowers. So it's turned a really deep rosy pink. And there's a buddleia just on the other side of the picket fence, which is the same one, same type. Here it is. I propagated it last autumn, and I suspect that next season it will grow as tall as the other one and also provide shade for this Sunday Fraise hydrangea. So by protecting them a little bit more that way, I'm hoping to prevent them from browning off with the heat we get. And this pomegranate, I haven't shaped. I'm letting it go wild. It will gain some autumn colour soon, which will be nice. And then I will cut it right back to the ground, I think. I won't shape it, I'll just cut it right back in late winter and it will regrow. I have learned that Shasta daisies, in their first year as seedlings, just put down roots. They don't do any flowering, so that explains that. I've got another rogue pomegranate here. Another snapdragon was doing okay, but now looks very sad, and this one's doing fine. It's growing in the cobbles. So I don't know if something is going on with my snapdragons. It was looking fine and now it's looking sad. So who knows? I put this pot, I filled it with begonias, which I haven't had a lot of luck with. And it looks really good. I put it on that table. So the salvias are coming into their own up here, and this chrysanthemum is an orange one, same with this one. So I think they'll provide a nice contrast to the purple of these salvias. This Gabiosa is still there and still hasn't flowered in the autumn, and either have my geums. Achillea is just flowering all the time. Same with this Agastache, which is supposed to be a perennial one. And hopefully that turns out to be true. I like this little Hebe I bought. It's got very cute pink flowers. I think it's called icing sugar. They change colour as they mature. I've got pink Sunday salvia popping up everywhere. It's a easy reseeder. Another salvia. And more snapdragons that are dying. I am going to just pull them all out, and as I find there's snapdragon seedlings all over the place, so I'll just replant them in where I pulled them out, I think. But of course, as I keep saying, this whole bed will be getting dug out along the front, because in there are granite boulders, and I'm going to dig them out, probably use them, and put compost in. This bed is so much better now. The anemones up here are doing well too, but I will improve it further. Now, I used to have a fence here. It was a cute little iron fence, or some kind of wire anyway, and I decided to pull it out, and my lavender hedge is growing there. I'm going to transplant another lavender here, and I've decided, I was toying with the idea of trying to grow dichondra in between these steps, but I think I'm just going to put gravel there. It's so easy and so cheap, and it makes the place look just, it just lifts everything. So yeah, I'll be doing that in the next couple of weeks, I think. There's the agave from a different angle. And that's the lavender. It's a French lavender, as are those ones. And I'll plant it in here, so that will hopefully fill in a bit more soon and become a lavender hedge. And of course this will also be a lavender hedge here until it becomes a euphorbia hedge. The California tree poppy is looking much the same. It's not really putting any growth on. That's another barberry, beautiful colour. Another Shasta daisy, billy buttons, and this is a pink buddleia which I want to propagate and grow in the pots by the back door down there next summer. These little geraniums were seedlings that I grew from seed, and they also haven't flowered this season. My miscanthus is getting a pink tinge to the flower heads, which looks delightful. Now that is I've forgotten. What are they? Rose campion. Yeah, rose campion. Also haven't flowered because they're in their first year. And my desert hollyhock is flowering. Very pretty orange flowers. And I do believe it's a bit too close to that miscanthus. And unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to move it. But I don't think desert hollyhocks like to be moved. So I might have to get some more seeds and grow some more, but it took all summer to get to this. So anyway, that's what happens. This miscanthus, I think, is only going to get bigger. But it is supposed to be one of the dwarf ones, so it shouldn't get too big. This salvia is getting bigger too, and I do wonder if I should move the peony, which is an Ito or Ito peony, because they are quite close together there. but I know I'll be cutting that salvia back, so I'm not sure. Now I meant to look this up because it's flowering. It's got dainty little white flowers. I will have to look that up. You can see the evidence of my weeding. And I've cut back this as well, which I believe is an Australian native. It needed a good cut back because there was a blackberry growing in there, so I could get to the blackberry and pull it out. And the Roseanne geranium is now getting more sun. These snapdragons aren't doing too bad. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Really happy with this rose. It's holding the pink colour a little bit more. I wonder if that's got something to do with the cooler days, and it's promising some more buds, and it's got a delightful perfume. I'm going to make some changes with this bed too. Just haven't quite decided what yet. I watched the first day of daylight savings video this morning, which was 6 months ago, and everything has grown so much in just 6 months. So I'm super excited for next spring because it will be even better. And one of the best decisions I made was to get rid of the hops that was growing here. And it was a huge bully of the other plants. The roots went horizontally, extending through the whole bed, taking all the moisture and the nutrients. And this ornamental grape does so much better, and it has a different root structure, so that this lemon is actually now starting to thrive for the first time. So it will be nice to see it finally grow up and become a little tree, which is my goal for this bed, to have a lemon tree, and then appropriate plants underneath. The nasturtiums do well here, so maybe they will continue to be there. And obviously now in the background, the ornamental grape, bordered by this Banksia rose, which does provide a nice shape to the garden, a structure plant. And these two pots are still doing well. They are promising more purple buddleia flowers. We still have warm days in the forecast, so there's still more growing and flowers to be enjoyed. This Gomphrena is doing well, but the pink is so pale. I'm not sure if I shouldn't get a different type of Gomphrena. But I've been thinking about this bed too, because this chamomile, I ripped out a lot of it just to make it a thin strip along the edge. I'm not sure about Lisianthus. I really think they do best in like a flower bed for a cutting garden. And this comfrey has seated itself over here. So I think I'll get both of them out and put them in the silver birch bed as well. And I was thinking of having Gomphrena run through the middle of this bed, which would be nice. But these pink Sunday salvia, they just pop up everywhere and they really like this bed. So I might do that instead with the salvia rather than the Gomphrena. Just run it through the middle of this bed, and it will be backed by the Sunday Fraise hydrangeas. That's a candlelight hydrangea and 3 Sunday Fraise hydrangeas. So that's what I'm thinking of for next season. I actually just planted some beautiful pink tulips in here, so they'll come up in spring. I've been working on this island bed today, just doing some weeding. And I've got more snapdragons that have died, and I've pulled them out and put them in this bucket. But the other ones are doing okay. So again, I'm just going to plant some seedlings here of snapdragons. This is a chrysanthemum that I cut back really late, and there's no buds on it. And I'm wondering if I will get any flowers or not. But I think I'm going to change things here too. I might get rid of this lavender. And I discovered a sweet pea, everlasting sweet pea, which I have ordered the seed of. And I'm thinking of cleverly growing the normal sweet pea, allowing it to take over in spring, but also growing this everlasting one, which is a perennial, and it is really hardy and drought tolerant and can handle heat. It looks great. It's got a pink flower, but it doesn't have a perfume, so that's the payoff. But if I could have the normal one with the perfume in spring, I'll be happy with that. As I've said before, I'm going to get rid of that Echinops, put it somewhere else. And I have also ordered some Purple Rain allium for this island bed. And I've started to get rid of all the daffodils that are just way too many. And I think I'll get rid of even more yet. need to work on my pots a bit too. You can really see the pinkish tone to that miscanthus up there. It looks beautiful in the wind. I don't like wind, but I don't mind it when it makes something like a miscanthus dance. This snapdragon does well too, and it's virtually in the pavement. Maybe my snapdragons are getting too wet. I have bought some red buff calendula to try again. I had planted it, but my chickens got in and scratched it all out. So we'll try again. I'm rethinking this bed too. I'm not sure I want the salvias here, even though they do really well and have taken over. I'm thinking of putting a candlelight hydrangea there as well to match that one, which I propagated from that one, which is being overtaken by pink Sunday salvia. The snowball viburnum, I'm hoping it changes an interesting colour in autumn. And this bed does need a bit of a rethink too. I think the salvia here, I might get rid of that. Really pleased with the clematis, how it has grown. It's virtually as tall as me now. Really happy I transplanted these two hydrangeas here, Magical Revolution and White Ball. They're so much happier here. And my camellia is already showing a promise of flowering. Here in the shadiest spot. So very soon we will have flowers, and they pretty much flower all winter. That's the white ball. Now, the moonflower. I've been really excited because the flower buds are getting huge, but something strange has happened. So that's an example. Beautiful. But this one, look, it's gone wilty. It was looking so good. Hasn't opened. And another one has done the same. Gone a bit wilted looking. This one, look, see, Richard? Does that mean they're about to flower? I don't know, but no frost yet on the forecast, but it won't be long. And the moonflower will not survive a frost. So, my lawn, I'm thinking of because while the cooch where it's growing is doing okay, you can see it's spreading a bit, this is all just weed grass. So when we get the tiller, I'm thinking of tilling it and lifting it all up and maybe seeding it with, I don't know, I can't seed it with cooch probably, but maybe something else that the cooch can compete with okay. And I also have decided to do big beds over here, and I planted a whole bunch of daffodils over there, and I've got some ideas here. You can see the two yellow lines, because I thought maybe we could have a nice lawn area here. And so I got some AI designing done, and this is what I have in mind for this area. It will look pretty amazing, and I don't think that expensive. We will flatten or level that lawn area a little bit, but not drastically. It will still be a gentle slope. Helga. Well, that is the last day of daylight savings for autumn 2026. Tomorrow we gain an hour, which means I'll have an extra hour for gardening.